In today's episode, you'll learn how to make delicious kosher veal shoulder Moroccan stew using Prairie Street Prime's kosher USDA veal shoulder and these fresh ingredients.
This looks amazing. One word, tasty. It's delicious. Hey everybody, I'm Chef Randy. Welcome to Prairie Street Prime Culinary Kitchen. Prairie Street Prime is your premium kosher meat experience. So today we're going to talk about veal shoulder, and we're going to do something a little different with a veal shoulder that you probably haven't seen, and probably a technique that you probably haven't seen before either. So we are going to make a kosher veal Moroccan stew. And not only are we going to do a Moroccan stew, but we're going to do a no-sear veal stew, and we're going to use water instead of stock or juice or anything like that, and we'll talk about that when we get up to it. So we're going to start by, we have some of our veal diced already. This is one slice off of our veal shoulder. What we just need to do, it's simple. Just take this, cut it into about 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch slices, and then we go back through, and then we're going to dice this. So these little pieces of cartilage in through here that the knife sometimes has trouble going through, even though this is a razor sharp knife, is going to develop a ton of flavor. That cartilage turns into gelatin when we cook it slowly, and it's exactly what we want because that's what's going to help develop the flavors in our stew. So let's add this to our bowl. Okay, so next we're going to do, we have to build a spice rub. So I've got the ingredients for our spice rub in here, and these are some cool ingredients that you may not think about cooking with veal, but it's going to be incredible. We have kosher coarse salt, some ground black pepper, some paprika, ground cumin, and then the two cool ingredients are ground cardamom and ground cinnamon. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put that together, just mix this up. We've got our spice blend here. Take about half, get it right in there, and then just mix this up. We want to do this first so that the veal can start to take on some of these flavors. All right, so we've got that. Now what we're going to do with this is we're going to start to develop some flavors with a non-dairy vegan parve butter and some onions. So that's where we're going to start to develop some flavor. All right, so I got a couple tablespoons of the butter. And I'm going to put my onions down in. And we're going to let that start to cook. The other things we're going to add to this, we're going to add the remainder of our spice mix, and then we're going to add a little bit of tomato paste. We're going to caramelize that a little bit, and then we're going to add water. And then we're also going to take a garlic clove, a whole head of garlic, all right, and I'm just going to take the top off, just like that. Because what we're going to do is we're going to drop this right into into our stew, and we're going to let this cook. It's almost going to kind of taste roasted, but it's going to taste like simmered with all the spices. And then when the stew is done, we're going to squeeze out the garlic, and it's going to help flavor and kind of thicken the stew a little bit as well. All right. So we're starting to get a little color on the onions. At this point, this is where I want to start adding my tomato paste. About 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. And this is where I want to cook the tomato paste. The tomato paste is kind of sweet, and what this is going to do when I saute it, it's going to bring some sweetness, more sweetness out, but also a different depth of flavor. It's going to kind of caramelize, so it's going to be a little more savory and robust than just straight tomato paste. Starting to get a little color in the bottom of the pan. So that stuff on the bottom of the pan is also, in French, it's called fond, which are the little bits on the bottom of the pan, which are like little bits of flavor explosion, which is what we want. So now what we're going to do, we're going to add the water. Gonna add about 4 cups of water. And I'm going to stir this up a little bit so I can get some of those bits off the bottom. This is called deglazing. When you pour a liquid into a hot skillet and you deglazing, you're pulling those little bits off the bottom of the pan. So our veal is going to go in. And we have the rest of our spices. Then we just take our garlic clove, put that in, and that's going. And trust me, this is going to develop a ton of flavor. What we do want to do is we want to cover this now and let it cook for about 45 minutes. We'll come back to it, and we've got a bunch of other things that we're going to add to it. Our veal stew has been cooking for about 45 minutes now, and there's a couple things that we need to add, going back to building our flavors. So it's got a nice simmer. You can see the water has started to reduce. Now we're just going to add our carrots, and then we're going to add the chickpeas. And we're going to let this cook probably for another 20 minutes. We just want the carrots to cook just so they're tender. And then we are going to put the lid on, and we'll be back in 25 minutes. Well, it's been about 25 minutes since we added the carrots and the chickpeas, so we're going to take a look at this because I believe it's about done. Oh, we got this nice simmering going on. So if I'm looking at this, it's really reduced, and it's starting to thicken up a little bit, which is what we want. And you're going to notice that we've got this garlic in here. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick the garlic up, hold the cut end down, and then just squeeze all that garlic out. And just get all that in there. And what that's going to do, it's going to thicken the soup a little bit, and it's just going to be incredible, make it rich and creamy. Next thing we're going to do is we continue to talk about layering flavors. Since we didn't sear this veal, we're going to add a whole bunch more things to it. So we've got some fresh cilantro. And I'm just going to rough chop. I have the stems in here. Cilantro stems are amazing. I have some chef friends that only use the stems. They don't even use the leaves. So there's a ton of flavor in there. This goes in. Looks like a lot of cilantro, but believe me, it's going to be amazing. All right, fresh spinach. This goes in. I'm going to start to stir this up. All right. And the last thing we're going to do is we've got all these really earthy flavors, a lot of warm spices, the chickpeas. We're going to brighten this up with a lot of lemon juice. All right. So it's almost a whole lemon. So it's a couple tablespoons of lemon. And just finish this, stir this up. And this looks amazing. From what we started, you would never know that we didn't sear the veal, and you would never know that we didn't use a stock. We used water. So it's an incredible technique, makes it easy. I mean, look at this. It smells incredible. And this is about all we need to do. We just want the spinach to wilt down a little bit, the cilantro to wilt down a little bit. So right now I can turn this off, and I am ready to serve myself some. And you can even see in here, if you look closely, as I'm stirring it up, the pieces of veal shoulder are starting to break apart, which is telling me that I know it's going to be super tender. All right. So we got this beautiful stew. It's almost like a cross between a soup and a stew. It's a one-pot meal, layers of flavor. There we have it. This is our Prairie Street Prime veal shoulder Moroccan stew. No sear, tons of flavor. We're going to enjoy this. Okay, everybody, it's time to taste this delicious Moroccan veal stew. I'm going to dig in, get some carrots, some of the chickpeas, some of this veal. One word, tasty. It's delicious. It really is. The veal is tender, carrots are tender, it's herbaceous, it's got bright flavors from all the lemon. The warm spices just give it another dimension, layers of flavor. It's amazing how much flavor you can develop when you use this technique. Water, no sear the meat, and you're gonna be shocked at how easy and how much flavor you can develop with this dish.
Coming up next on the Prairie Street Prime Culinary Kitchen channel, Chef Kendra will show us how to make her delicious kosher Baja brisket.
Don't mind me. Oh, just cut so perfectly. Absolutely to die for.
This was Prairie Street Prime Kosher Veal Moroccan Stew. Prairie Street Prime is your premium kosher meat experience. Please subscribe, like, hit that notification bell, and we will see you soon.